Okay, first of all, Tyler, Scaled and Icy, sixth studio album, and you said this album is more colorful and positive than your previous work. So why do you feel that way?
Maybe it's to compensate for me wearing black all the time. I don't know. I wanted to shake things up. Your lighting is way better than mine. What are you
Thank you.
using? I gotta work on my lighting situation.
Do you need a glam light? I mean,
I think I
get
do.
you.
I got something going on, but I don't. It's not even coming close to what you got going on. So
Do you
maybe
want
after the interview, you can send me some notes on the tech that you got going on, because you look fantastic.
Thank you. I have wind machines. I have all the diva stuff. We need that. I
Okay.
can get that shipped over to you, Tyler. Stop
All right,
playing with me.
let's do it.
No, you look great. You're in the studio. You're working. It's dope. So, positive, colorful.
Yeah, I'll answer your question about the record. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, I think that I was working on some music, and obviously that's what I do. And I didn't feel like it was appropriate to just hold up a mirror to the circumstances that we're all experiencing right now, especially this past year. I wanted to escape it a bit and really lean into imagination, and the idea that if you're confined to one simple small space and you focus on one tiny little detail in that space, that detail can actually come to life and fly around your room and take you on a journey. And I think that's the power of music and creativity and leaning into that imagination. I think that this record is going to be a little more colorful and exciting in that way.
Yeah. There are still themes though of like anxiety and loneliness, boredom, doubt. Has having huge success contributed to feeling those things?
Wow. I think that with each question that I answer in my life, there's another question that comes up that I inevitably don't have the answer to. I have a 1-year-old daughter, and in a lot of ways leading up to, being a dad, I always had this question of what's the point? What is my motivation? What are my goals? And in a sense, not that it's completely answered that question, but in a sense, I can kind of look at her as an answer to that question of what my motivation is. What is, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been an amazing kind of, question to have answered. But along with that, a myriad of other questions come with it. Like, how do I be the best dad? How do I lead by perfect example? And all these, how do I convince her that I think that she's beautiful and I want her to be whoever she wants, and all these things that are kind of scary about being a parent. So I've always used music to kind of move forward in my seasons of life. And this season is no different. I've been still using music.
Yeah. How has that blend been for you? Like just balancing, family and work? Because I know that you made this entire album at home. So even just finding boundaries and structure, like what was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because as much as I'm in a studio in the basement and it's all soundproofed and everything, I don't know what it is, but there's only one sound that cuts through all these walls, and it is her running across the kitchen floor. And so if I'm down here and I'm grinding and all of a sudden I just hear that pitter patter run above me, it's so tough not to just press pause and everything I'm doing and go up there and, see how she's doing. And inevitably my wife will say, all right, you got her for a second. I got to go do this thing. And all of a sudden I'm stuck babysitting for the next hour. And so I gotta I take advantage of working from home as much as I can, but also you're right. The boundary thing is kind of tough because I got to stay focused too.
Yeah, no, for sure. Rosie's popping. Okay.
Yeah.
Because from what I understand, she's on Shy Away.
Yeah. She's on a few things. Yeah. She was on set there. She actually showed up in the music video for Level of Concern, which was a song we released a little bit ago. So yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of artists and musicians, they like to separate their personal life from their career. And I totally respect that. And I understand why you would do that. For me, it always felt a little unnatural to do that because my personal life and who I am behind the music is so it's so important to who I am when I'm doing music. And so Josh and I, the other guy in my band, we've always been inclined to involve our family, to involve the people who are in our lives. So, yeah, you know, a lot of our music videos and a lot of the things that we do, just kind of sprinkle them in there whenever we can. And I hope one day Rosie will look back on a music video that she's in and not resent me for it. I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen, but I like commemorating, you know, where we are in our life, with music videos and stuff. And that's why we involve our family sometimes.
Yeah. Well, Rosie's a little rock star. So I want to know, like, is she going to get credit, royalties? What are we doing here?
I told my wife that I think DJ Khaled made his like 1-year-old son an executive producer and stuff. And I was thinking maybe I could, you know, find her a title and get her fast tracked into a career here. But she's only a year old. So I think I'm going to just hold off for now and let her decide.
So besides Josh, who is the person in your life that you trust the most to like play new music? Like, who is your litmus test?
It's a good question. I have 2 brothers and a sister, and they've been there since the beginning. I mean, they watched me teach myself how to play piano. They've watched me figure out how to record music. They've heard me in the other room at my parents' old house screaming my head off into a microphone and wondering if, you know, is he okay? I mean, so they've been there. They've been there every step of the way. And so my family, I always go out of my way to make sure that they hear, you know, something new. And, you know, sometimes you get the right reaction. Sometimes you feel like you got to go back in the lab and make it better. But yeah, along with Josh, the other guy in the band, they are the first people that hear new stuff.
Yeah. So there's a track, Bounce Man, and you talk about getting together with your friends at this stage in your life. So how does that look now versus 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
Man, I think that I try to keep, I like keeping the circle tight. I know that sounds a little cliche, but it is very important to do that.
Super important.
And in as much as I like to do that, even, you know, looking back 6 years ago when I got married, you know, looking at the, you know, the wedding and who was invited there, it's a different group of people than who I may have invited to that wedding if it were now. And those, so inevitably you're going to see people coming in and out of your life, and that's very natural. And it can be sad sometimes, but I do think that you start to realize when those people start to cycle in and out, is when you start to truly recognize the people who are going to stay forever. And when you realize who those people are, you get to lean into them even more. And for me, it truly is family. And it's not always the case for everyone. Sometimes people have friends or long time, you know, friendships that are just as powerful and strong as family. And I think that as I get older, I realize which ones are mainstays. And so, I mean, you're going to have those people that come in and out, but remember who's got your back.
Yeah. Rosie's first birthday post on Instagram made me just die. It was so funny. How has fatherhood just changed your priorities when it comes to music and touring and all of that?
You know, with the pandemic and the lockdowns, obviously a lot, people have been working through a lot. And I never like to only look at a positive of an overwhelmingly, you know, tough and negative situation. But the truth is I was able to stay home for the entirety of my daughter's first year of life. And to really look at that as a positive has been something that, it's something that I've tried to, you know, come back to and remember, especially when I start to get frustrated and a little down about that we're not out playing shows like we usually are. So I that is one good thing. And at some point I'm gonna have to show her, you know, Dad works. You know, I'm not just a bum. But so far, all she knows is Dad's a bum.
What was your wife's reaction to being on Saturday? Like, was that a real phone call? Was that a setup?
Yes. No, that was a real phone call. Believe me, she wanted to re-record it. She didn't like how she sounded. Like, I'm not re-recording anything. This is it. You got it. Like, this is. So in the song Saturday, I was working on that song, and I was sitting in front of the microphone working on some vocals, and it was coming towards the, you know, the end of the evening, and she called me from upstairs just to check in to see, you know, what's my plan tonight. And, you know, it was just a very organic conversation where she asked, like, are you working on music? I said, yeah. And she says, that's cool. I'm tired. I'm going to head to bed. And I said, well, no, I want to watch Friends with you. And that was the show that we were like watching at the time.
Yeah.
And then she said, you know, listen, if you've got the time, if you're feeling inspired, you should just go for it. And I was recording that whole time while on that phone call, and it just happened to fit perfectly as the bridge of the song. And, you know, when she says, just go for it, I sing a high note and we go into the last chorus. And
I love it.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that one.
That's awesome. Tyler, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. You're super dope.
Absolutely. Thanks for talking.